be quick. I just want to thank everyone, especially our board, for supporting Central Services, and certainly my user departments, and of course we do it all for the citizens, so thank you all.
Let's give them a round of applause. Also, they had a great celebration, and I just want to say thank you guys for all that you do over there in Central Services. Thank you. Okay, again, please help me pose.
Clayton County pays tribute to retired Major Sherman Dwayne Lemon. Whereas Major Sherman Dwayne Lemon, son of the late Willie D. and Mary C. Lemon, was born in McDonough, Henry County, Georgia. A 1973 graduate of Henry County Senior High School, Sherman began working in the family business W.D. Lemon and Sons Funeral Home and attended Gupton Jones College of Mortuary Science in 1976. He graduated with an Associate's of Science degree and became a licensed funeral director and embalmer. And whereas while a student at Henry County Senior High School, Sherman attended Gordon Junior College at night to become an emergency medical tech. He graduated in 1972 as a certified EMT and began working at Henry County Emergency Medical Services until 1978. On July 10, 1978, Sherman was hired by the Clayton County Police Department. He completed the police academy in 1979 and became a patrolman. And whereas Sherman's dedication to public service resulted in his advancement within the Clayton County Police Department, in June 1982, he was promoted to detective. In February 1984, he was promoted as the first black sergeant. He continued to lead and was promoted in February 1994, becoming the first black lieutenant in the Uniform Patrol Division. Serving the community of the North Clayton Police Precinct with professionalism, leadership, and dedication, he was again promoted to the rank of captain as the first black precinct commander in November 2002. And whereas the pinnacle of Sherman's career occurred on June 7, 2005, becoming the first black promoted to major with the Clayton County Police Department until his retirement on May 17, 2008. He's married to Shannon Lemon, and they have two sons, Shannon and Brannon. He and his wife, Shannon, enjoy the best part of retirement as loving, proud, and happy grandparents. Now, therefore, I, Gail B. Hambrick, Commissioner, on behalf of the Clayton County Board of Commissioners, do hereby pay tribute to retired Major Sherman Dwayne Lemon, Clayton County's first black officer, promoted to lieutenant, captain, and major with the Clayton County Police Department. We are deeply grateful for his historic career, steadfast service, and lasting contributions to law enforcement and the citizens of Clayton County. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Clayton County, Georgia, to be affixed this 4th day of March in the year 2025.
Thank you all so much and all for something that's so well deserved. Sherman started years ago. I think you all heard the dates and all, but it was really when Clayton County was basically changing, and it was the North Clayton area that actually started that change. And parents, we were very active, and we started what we call the after-school enrichment program. Couldn't get anybody to help us out or whatever. Who volunteered? Sherman, right, and that's exactly what we called him. We referred to him as, and some was officer or whatever, but he was just so on it for us and helped us so much because we really couldn't get the help. We were told that, okay, you all can do this, you can try it or whatever, but nobody really believed in the program. So with the help of Major Lemon and all, and I believe, there used to be police chief, Porter, right, yes, before he became police chief for the school system. We didn't have officers for the school system at the time. So this was our school officer and served us very well, so we really appreciate it. I know we've said that over and over for years, but you just don't know how much. So thank you so very much for doing what you did and did not get paid for it at the time. So we really appreciate you, so thank you so much.
All right, next we will have a presentation for the State Department of Aging Services, Community Meetings, Senior Services. Good evening, Ms. Strada.
I am not from the Department of Aging Services. They are not here.
Okay.
So I will just kind of do a brief summation of what the presentation was supposed to be about. So the Department of Aging Services, they are responsible for a state area plan on aging for our entire state. They have to update that plan. It is a 3-year plan, and it has to be updated per the Older Americans Act. That meeting is going to take place on March 17th at Sauna Singleton Gregory. And it's a very important meeting, and it's for all seniors in the state of Georgia to attend. So I encourage you guys to come out. The Director of Aging Services for the state will be in attendance. They will answer questions about the aging plan. They will tour our facility as well. So it is a great moment for our county to be proud of, and we were going to send something out through communications as it relates to that meeting.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Strada. We appreciate that.
March 17th at 2 o'clock at Samuel Singleton Gregory Senior Center.
March 17th.
And Ms. Strada, you might want to sit up there because I think there's a question. Didn't we pull number 14 and put it on the regular agenda?
Yes.
Right. So if there are questions,
All right, board members, are there any questions at this time in regards to number 14? Who was it?
That's the housing study.
She's talking about the housing study. So let's hold off. We'll move on to the next item. Next will be public comment. You're good. Next will be public comment.
The board will now hear public comments. Citizens will be given 3 minutes maximum time limit with a total time of 30 minutes. Comments must be limited to matters on the agenda or over matters which the governing body has jurisdiction. Speakers must maintain decorous demeanor and refrain from personal attacks upon board members, shouting, and using obscene language. Please state your name and county of residency for the record. Speak clearly into the microphone, and speakers should be courteous, respectful, and not make any disparaging remarks or use abusive language when addressing the board.
All right, good evening, everyone. First on our list will be Dr. Henry Anderson.
Henry Anderson, District 3 resident, unincorporated Clayton County, Hampton, Georgia. Good evening, Chairwoman Mrs. Dr. Leka Anderson-Henry, Vice Chairwoman and District 1 Commissioner Ms. Elena Reeves, District 3 Commissioner Mrs. Tasha Allen.
I can't hear you, hold on. Can someone from communications please check the microphone, please?
Keep the clock is still.
I know. You all, can you all reset the clock as well? Thank you.
Henry Anderson, District 3 resident, unincorporated Clayton County, Hampton, Georgia. Good evening, Chairwoman Mrs. Dr. Leka Anderson-Henry, Vice Chairwoman and District 1 Commissioner Ms. Elena Reeves, District 3 Commissioner Mrs. Tasha Allen, District 2 Commissioner Ms. Gail Hambrick, and happy birthday again to you, and District 4 Commissioner Mr. DeMont Davis. You see before you 4 colored folders that will correlate to the type of evaluation report rating that all 5 of you, our Clayton County Board of Commissioners, are at that particular evaluation time. Presentation of the green folder corresponds to and will contain a Clayton County Board of Commissioners evaluation report and information rating of success. This is the folder that you should want to see and should strive and work hard to see. The gray presentation of the gray folder corresponds to and will contain a Clayton County Board of Commissioners evaluation report, information rating of inactivity, stagnation, and inaction. This is the folder that you should not want to see. Presentation of the yellow folder corresponds to or contain a Clayton County Board of Commissioners evaluation report, information rating of warning. This is the folder that you should not want to see. Presentation of the red folder corresponds to contain a Clayton County Board of Commissioners evaluation report information rating of failure. This is the folder you definitely should not want to see, period, and should work hard to avoid seeing. I now will present my Dr. Henry Anderson Clayton County Board of Commissioners performance appraisal, assessment, evaluation standards, benchmarks, metrics, and criteria that I will be using in determining your overall numerical level grade rating score. Evaluation benchmark, metric, and criteria number 1, how well that all 5 of you as our Clayton County Board of Commissioners are presently positioning Clayton County for success, excellence, and greatness in the overall quality of life and living in Clayton County in the present, here and now. Evaluation benchmark, metric, and criteria number 2, the decisions that all 5 of you as our Clayton County Board of Commissioners are making, have already made, and have not made, and the actions that all of you have taken, as well as the actions that all of you have not taken to address and solve problems, issues, concerns that the good and great citizens of Clayton County present to all of you about Clayton County in the real and present time. I will continue with your evaluation benchmarks, metrics, and criteria that I will be using in your Clayton County citizens evaluation process during the public commenting section at the next Clayton County Board of Commissioners regular business meeting 2 weeks from now on Tuesday, March 18, 2025 at 6:00 p.m. To all, continue to have a very productive, great, engaging, orderly, excellent, exceptional, and outstanding rest of your Clayton County Board of Commissioners regular business meeting on this evening, Tuesday, March the 4th, 2025. Good day.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Next will be Ms. Patricia Bryant.
Check, 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 mic check. Good afternoon to the board, commissioners. My name is Patricia Bryant, District 3, and I just want to say, first of all, I'm still so grateful that the town hall meeting that we had for District 3 on January 28th, it shared a lot of information concerning growth. And so I just want us to keep in mind with the growth and the explosion of the county that we are going to need some type of financial support to expand and enlarge our public safety, our law enforcement, because I remember a couple of weeks ago when Sheriff Allen was on TV, he was explaining about the overcrowdedness of the jail, the understaffed of officers. So as we grow, because like right now, I always, you know for yourself, Chairman, that I always advocated with this rooming house concept. And I'm telling you, it's out of control. So especially we need more help in code enforcement. And I just ask that we keep in mind as we grow and we want to keep the county beautiful, what can we do to curb the junk and the garbage that's piled aside the road? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And Ms. Bryant, is someone here from code enforcement tonight? I'm going to send you back. You said you had some complaints about some of the issues with code.
The rooming house concept.
Yeah, the rooming house concept. Please go back and speak with our code enforcement officer in regards to that. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. All right, next is Rhonda Ashley.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, Commissioner Allen, and Board of Commissioners. Come before you this evening to solicit the board to vote in favor.
Ms. Ashley, can you state your name and
Oh,
city?
I'm sorry, Rhonda Ashley in Clayton County, District 3. Okay. I come before you this evening to solicit the board to vote in favor of Resolution 2025-38 to increase the current property tax homestead exemption from $10,000 to $15,000. Resolution 2025-37 that was passed in the 220 board meeting only applies to certain groups of homestead taxpayers based on age, disability, and being an unremarried surviving spouse of certain first responders. This resolution is inadequate and neither fair nor equitable because it only applies to a certain segment of homestead taxpayers, whereas the inflated appraisals and assessments apply to the majority of homestead taxpayers, without respect to a certain category or group that you've already outlined. So I want to also stress and emphasize the fact that no action to address the property tax issue is relief, but instead you're rectifying, resolving, repaying, reimbursing, or refunding excess property taxes paid based on inflated appraisals and assessments. For me personally, relief suggests aid, assistance, welfare, food stamps, Medicaid, WIC, and whatever other programs are available that gives someone something. You're not giving us anything. You're making restitution for excess property taxes that we should have never paid in the first place. Referring to it for what it actually is might impact your mindset in terms of resolving the issue. Because as long as you think, speak, and are convinced that you're giving us something by providing relief, you'll kind of do that if and when you feel like it and to the degree that you feel is acceptable. So I personally see passing or voting in favor of Resolution 2025-38 as a way to both address the past year's inflated assessments and make adjustments to the inflated appraisals that are already locked into the values of our homes. As I mentioned when I addressed the board last month, the only way to realize or benefit from the inflated appraisals is to sell our home, and in doing so, we recover some of that excess tax paid through the sale of our home, whose value is much higher than it should be. For those of us like myself who will remain in our homes, the only way for us to recover the excess taxes we've paid is through some type of offset or exemption, which can certainly be achieved by increasing the homestead exemption from $10,000 to $15,000. Once again, I encourage you to vote in favor of Resolution 2025-38. It is the fair...
Thank you, Ms. Ashley. Your time is up. All right, thank you. Next, we will have Mr. Dennis Murray. Dennis Murray.
I'm Dennis Murray. I'm in District 4. She said everything I wanted to say. But I'd like to know sometimes when we get these notices, we get them like late. I never know, what's going on. I've been in this area. I live over in Spivey Lake. I've been in this area for about 4 years now, and I just realized that we had to vote on the child care credit, some credit, anyway. I went and read it, but we never know. Sometimes we never know what the elections are all about, and I need to get involved in it. I used to live in Fulton County. I'm from the D.C. area, actually, and I just need to know, and that's my guy over there.
Mr. Murray, as far as you said, you were getting your assessment notices late.
Yeah.
You can call your tax assessor's office, and they can you can speak with them in regards to that. So you can call down there.
Well, I did, but I still haven't. This was months ago, and I still hadn't.
Please follow up.
Got it.
Definitely follow up, and I'll also speak. You can speak with them. You can follow up.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council Chairwoman, Ms. Murray, second Saturday of every month, we have a community town hall right here. Starts at 11 a.m.
Okay.
We talk about what's going on and what's upcoming.
All right. Good
Okay.
enough. Good enough. Thank you.
Will they be
And so
there?
this-
Will the tax assessor or anyone be there?
Sometimes tax assessor comes
Okay.
when we invite her
Okay.
to, but we have different folks come in, but she's not scheduled to be at this one.
Okay.
Okay. Good enough. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, we will have Mr. Timothy Vondell Jefferson.
Good evening, Madam Chair,
Good evening.
Commissioners. I want to reiterate again about beautification. We got rid of beautification office. We turned down the mandatory trash. But in the meantime, there's been ongoing issues. Thanks to Levon Allen, on February 20th, I think he cleaned up 2 apartments of furniture that was left behind a Truist Bank. And I posted it. But I think there's some issues that we can resolve. We have a lot of ordinances on the books. Commercial dumpsters are supposed to be enclosed and gated. And this is why it's critically important that we collaborate with the cities. The grocery carts are everywhere, but mostly in the cities. So we have to find a way to collaborate with them. We have laws that are falling, trees that are falling on the state highways and county highways that need to be cleaned up. Parking on grass, the trailers. I know of a particular unit that have 3 trailers in the front yard and people are living in them, which is definitely a code violation. But at the same time, I think I have some embryonic answers that we can do. There's one county building that really pays attention to beautification, and that's the Clayton County Water Authority. They got beautiful shrubbery, perennials, the whole 9 yards. Now, in my opinion, the showcase of our community is community development building and the tax building. At some type of way, the spring is about to come. We need to find a way to dress that up because that is the gateway into our community as far as builders and business licenses is concerned. We should not want to just throw down pine straw or bark. So we have to be conscious of the fact that we can make a change. Now, within the structure of the concept of littering, I have a simple proposal. And as a consultant, I'm not going to ask for any pay for this particular suggestion. But I think if a letter was drafted and wordsmithed, and we sent it to Chick-fil-A headquarters, Burger King, McDonald's, and they agreed to put a no littering in your community on the back of their bags, I think it would create a conscience within the citizens that purchase at those establishments. But at the end of the day, if we sit down and brainstorm, and I think that corporate America will work with us, but we have to start somewhere in the beautification program because it's so critical to the economic development and the type of establishments that we want and we desire in the county. So I hope that you all take that into consideration. We got a bunch of sharp minds. We got 2 COOs. We should be able to resolve this beautification issue without any hesitancy. But I thank you for your time. In the meantime, y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Jefferson. Next is Eric Williams.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners.
Good evening.
I'm here today. I'm out of District 3 in the local businesses in our area. I think I'm here more for direction instead of bringing a problem to the table. I'm here more for direction on what we can do to kind of get rid of the issues that we have at our facility. And I'm talking about the homeless encampments that we have in the back of our businesses, which is negatively impacting us. We have a few other speakers here today to talk about the same issue. But it's a safety concern for not only our customers, but our employees. And it's really getting out of hand to the point where, you know, we can't conduct business on a regular day-to-day basis. So I want to be brief in talking about it, but again, I would like to get some direction from you guys on where to go and what kind of recommendations you may have for us to resolve these issues in our community. Because like I said, it's getting worse by the moment, it's not getting any better. And I thank you for your time, and I appreciate it.
So, Mr. Jones, have you spoken with your District 3 commissioner as well?
No, we haven't done that yet.
So you would want to start with that. Also, Chief, I'm going to send you back to Chief Roberts, and he will speak with you in regards to the homeless encampments.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Terrence Jones.
Good evening. Thank you all for your service in our community, and thank you for this opportunity. My name is Terrence Jones. I'm the senior pastor of Greater Church in that same area, District 3. And we are indeed having some challenges, not just with the homeless community, but just overall law enforcement, them being present and responding when we have issues such as this issue that we've had with the homeless community, where they've caused issues with our buildings, stealing AC units, breaking fence, and so forth. And one of the challenges that we are also having is that they know they need to come to the Clayton County side. They've all left Stockbridge because they know Stockbridge is not gonna allow it, and they have decided that let's go to Clayton County because there are no rules there. The police isn't going to respond. And when they do respond, they're not going to do anything. So I've personally talked with the police. We've made reports. We've talked to code enforcement. And everybody's pointing us in a different direction, saying, hey, call this person, call that person. There's nothing we can do. The police show up and they say, hey, all we can do is take a report and send it to the detective bureau. They show up and they do nothing. So I'm just hoping that we can find a resolution, because it is very difficult when people don't feel comfortable coming to church because they got dogs chasing them out of the woods, and the police is saying we can't go back in the woods. So if the police can't go in the woods, I'm trying to figure out who's going to address the issue.
Thank you. Is it Reverend Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Reverend Jones. Also, we do have Chief Roberts. I'm going to send both of you all back in the back. Mr. Williams as well. You all can go speak.
Thank you.
You will speak with our Chief of Police, and
yes, ma'am.
We will rectify your issues.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you.
All right. You have a great
you.
day. All right. Next will be Mr. Mickey Garber. Oh, also code enforcement if someone's here, and animal control if someone is here. Well, animal control is chief. He can handle that. Oh, yes. Mickey Garber.
Yes, ma'am. Sparkling, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, Mickey Garber, unincorporated Rex, Georgia. Madam Chair, members of the board. One thing I'd like to say is thank you to Commissioner Reeves for making the suggestion of upping homestead exemption from $10,000 to $15,000, and I hope the board votes positively for that. The other thing that I would like to mention here is about zoning, and specifically in my neighborhood, they are building 67 new attached homes, fee simple, and when we went through the zoning here, we were promised that these homes would be $300,000 and up. Now, a sign went up yesterday that the homes now are $200,000 and up. They are lowering the value of those homes to drive the neighborhood into a ghetto neighborhood. What they should be doing is fulfilling the promise of $300,000 up, keeping our homes, who are legacy people in the neighborhood, 50 years and plus. 50 years and plus, keeping our values up. We should work in keeping all of our neighborhoods moving upwardly mobile, not downwardly. Another place is on Rex Road. They were at Rex Road and 42 going east, not 300 yards. The Laney Place, those homes were supposed to be $400,000 and up. A sign is now there for $300,000 and up. They were supposed to be all brick homes. Yes, the first 6 of them are all brick. You drive into the neighborhood, they are become three-sided brick. You drive a little further in, and they become one-sided brick. Now, what does that do for the people who spent the $400,000 buying their homes, and next door they got somebody building a lesser home, driving their values down? Do y'all understand what I have just said? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Garber. Next will be Carol Yancey.
Carol Yancey, Rex, Georgia. Board members and county officials display a lack of and/or selective accountability, transparency, integrity, and decorum with an above-the-law mentality. January 24th, I filed state ethics complaints against 4 candidates, elected officials, regarding violations of campaign contribution donation report. 2 of the 4 responded and resolved immediately. As per the State Ethics Commission, for the other 2, Elena Reed's investigation ongoing into January 25, now in the negotiation stage for a consent order with tentative hearing date of March the 24th. For not filing CCDRs and personal financial disclosures for special and regular elections January 21 through December 2024. And Felicia Franklin investigation is still ongoing for 23 and 24 CCDRs. State liens. May 2023, Clayton Crescent reported Felicia Franklin falsifying 2020 candidacy affidavit, a felony crime, for failure to disclose she owed state taxes, in which Franklin eventually paid later after the news article. August 2024, Ms. Aretha provided documentation to this board during her public comments showing Elena Reed's 2018 state lien for taxes paid released July 2024 after she was sworn in as commissioner, again falsifying candidacy affidavits filed for 2021 through 2024, an established pattern for members of this board and other elected officials, candidates. The state's response to the citizens' complaints. The county superintendent of election, responsible for verifying and confirming all information submitted is accurate, and the DA responsible for prosecution of felony crimes. The new ethics board is not able to operate, accept, and process complaints due to no vacancy announcement issued for the required ethics officers and administrative position. Was this intentional or just mere incompetency? Madam Chair, there's been rumors going around, so I want to ask for the record, yes or no. Have you requested the Clayton County Legislative Delegation as a whole or any members individually to restore the chair's authority and or veto powers that you, Franklin, and Hambert stripped your predecessor in 2022? Unresponsiveness would be considered a yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and we're gonna move right along. As far as any powers, I don't know what Ms. Yancey is talking about, so we're gonna move right along. That's my response. Next is Jean-Pierre Bourget.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, so my name is Jean-Pierre Bourget, resident of District 4. I would like to publicly thank the board for voting on the Development Authority, voting for me on the Development Authority board for last meeting. For those who don't know, I am a homegrown Clayton County resident. I went to elementary and high school here. I did dual enrollment at Clayton State University and got my undergrad from the University of Georgia and got my master's in city and regional planning and economic development at Georgia Tech. I'm also a captain in the Army Reserve. Now, the reason why I got my master's in economic development is because when I was in college, I got an internship at the Clayton County Office of Economic Development. It was there that I realized that the only way to improve our county was by cultivating a strong economic development strategy. So having the opportunity to be appointed is a great honor for me, as I will work diligently to serve our community and ensure we are on the right path. However, I was told this week that there are people on the Board of Commissioners who want me off of it, even though I was voted in last month. At the last Board of Commissioner meetings, however, you all voted to opt out of House Bill 581. And from an economic development perspective, I applaud you, as that was the right move. Because as the county, we now retain our ability to determine our own homestead formula, as well as have this healthy debate about new relief mechanisms which we can use, as we're seeing tonight, instead of being at the mercy of the state government. That being said, it is super critical for us to have a strong economic development strategy moving forward so we can remove the heavy tax burden on homeowners. Because as it stands, homeowners are contributing nearly 60% to our tax digest. But the way that we lessen that burden on our homeowner is having coordinated working relationship between the Board of Commissioners, Development Authority of Clayton County, as well as the Economic Development Office. So now, in my role on this Development Authority board, I will work to serve as an expert in economic development in order to help develop strategies, guide collaboration between the departments, and one of my first objectives is to ensure that we have a right executive director who is qualified to serve at the DACC. So that means that we must have a person that has the credentials and the experience on how to grow retail and commercial businesses inside our county, experiences in bringing businesses to the county, as well as structuring deals for viable development within the county. And more above all, though, I just want to say that thank you for your confidence in this appointment, and moving forward, I'll assure to work with you, the board, as well as serve the citizens of this county.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bourget.
Thank you.
Mr. Bourget, for stepping up. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right, this now concludes public comment. We will now move on to our consent agenda.
May I have a motion?
Can I get a motion at this time to approve the consent agenda? So moved. All right. So, we'll start with Commissioner Hambrick, and you want to second it, Commissioner Allen? All right, second. All right, any discussion at this time? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Next, we will look at items 9 and 14 first. Item 9 is Resolution 2025-39, a resolution authorizing Clayton County to enter into an amended solar energy procurement agreement with Cherry Street Asset Management Holdings, LLC, to procure solar energy through solar technology at certain county sites, to authorize the chairwoman or her designee to execute any documents relating therereto. If you want to finish it.
Okay. I'll get you right on a roll.
Yeah.
So I'll just pick up from there.
Okay.
To otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expenses required under the terms of the agreement, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes.
All right. Board members, are there any questions at this time? I'll start with District 1. Do you have any questions?
Oh. Can you circle back to me?
District 3?
No question.
District 2?
No question.
District 4? All right, we're back to you.
Oh, all right. No, I don't have any questions.
All right, at this time, anybody else have any questions, board members? All right, at this time, I need a motion to accept a resolution 2025-39, to approve, I'm sorry.
So moved.
All right, we'll start with Commissioner Hambrick, and then seconded by Commissioner Allen. Again, is there any questions at this time, board members? All right, any discussion? I'm moving on. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. All right, next is item 14.
Okay, item 14 is Resolution 2025-45, a resolution to authorize Clayton County to apply for and accept grant funds from the Atlanta Regional Commission for a housing study, to authorize the acceptance of the matching fund requirement from Aerotropolis Incorporated and the Housing Authority of Clayton County, to authorize the chairwoman to execute all necessary documents and otherwise to perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense. All this may be required to provide an effective date of this resolution for other purposes.
All right. Commissioner Davis, did you have any questions? All right, anybody, Commissioner?
Yes.
Commissioner.
I have questions about the implementation of this housing study and what's the process. So I know that this resolution is just to accept the ARC, to enter into the agreement with the ARC and with the Housing Authority, but what's the process? I see Director at GK coming up. Okay.
Madam Chair, good evening.
Good
Vice
evening,
Chair and
Mr.
Commissioners.
GK.
This is a study that's put together to do housing strategy and recommendation. It is under the CDAP, the Community Development assistance program of ARC. So there is a housing committee in the county that was convened by the Housing Authority. We are members of the committee discussing housing. We joined in partly because of the zoning rewrite. We want to make sure that we can glean information from this housing study to inject into the zoning rewrite. When the discussion came up about the CDAP process, Erythropolis and the Housing Authority are also members of it, of this housing, and all the cities in the county. It's a housing study for the whole county, not just unincorporated Clayton. So when the CDAP came, the Housing Authority and Erythropolis volunteered to come up with a matching fund. But as a result of the CDAP process, the county has to be in front of it. So.
Can you define the CDEF so that everyone?
Okay, well, yeah.
You can say what the acronym.
Yeah, I thought I did earlier. But
it's the community development.
It's the Community Development Assistance Program. This project gonna be in the tune of $200,000. And those two, Erythropolis, Atlanta, and the Housing Authority of Clayton County came up with the matching fund for it. It's at no cost to the county. It's here being presented just to make sure the county documents it properly and also acknowledge those donations.
So you mentioned the housing committee that will be under the Housing Authority. Has that committee already been formed?
Yes. Okay. It's not under the Housing Authority. It's a group of people who deal with housing in the county.
So is the membership for that committee, is that public information?
I'm not sure, because it was the Housing Authority of Clayton County that convened it. They called the cities, they called us, and we said, okay, we're interested in doing that, partly because, again, because of the zoning rewrite. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure that whatever comes out of it, to the extent possible, we can include it into our zoning rewrite.
Okay. Okay. So the committee's already been formed. What's the timeline for the housing study?
The housing study, we're going to know if we get the award late March, early April. If remember, you have to apply for the program if we get the award or not. But once we get the award, the zoning rewrite RFP was released last week. And so I think both things are running together. But even if we don't get the CDAP, it doesn't stop what we're doing on the zoning rewrite. It just adds to the information we might have.
But when is the application due to the ARC?
Oh, the application was submitted last Friday. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions at this time, board members? All right. At this time, I need a motion to approve Resolution 2025-45.
So moved. Second.
All right. Any discussion, as we've already discussed? All right, let's move to the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. All right. Next is board appointment for the Development Authority. Randy Burton was appointed to the Development Authority on March 1st, 2021. The existing term expired on March 1st, 2025. The new term is for 4 years, beginning immediately and expiring on March 1st, 2029. District 3.
I would like to make a motion to reappoint Randy Burton to the Development Authority Board.
I second it. All right. Any discussion? Any discussion at this time? Y'all good? Are y'all ready for the vote? All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Next is board appointment, Water Authority. Rodney Gibbons' term for the Clayton County Water Authority will expire on February 28, 2025. The new term is for 5 years, expiring on February 28, 2030. That is my appointment at this time. I would like to appoint Ms. Pat Puller to the Water Authority Board.
Second.
All right, are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
I have a question. It
What-
was for the discussion?
What? Yeah, we have, you can, well, I ain't got to discussion at this time, but, well, you can go and discuss.
Oh, okay. I was just curious for this appointment. I know this is something that we had discussed at the last meeting. For the Water Authority appointment, is it full board? Or is it at large?
7-member board, full board appointments, 5-year terms, but due to resolution 2022, the resolution that was quoted at the last meeting, each district has their own appointment first, and then the leftovers are at large.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
That's fine. All right, again, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Next is item 17, resolution 2025-38, a resolution by the Clayton County Board of Commissioners to introduce a local act during the 2025 legislative session of the Georgia General Assembly, increasing the homestead exemption from $10,000 to $15,000 for residents of Clayton County who own and occupy residences, to authorize the chairwoman to present a local act to the legislative delegation and to perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes. All right. I did it, so you can just go on.
I'm just here to answer any questions.
All right, any questions at this time, board members? Stacy, did you have anything to add or anything? Yeah. All right. And so what, can you all come up also and just state for the public, what would be the revenue impact as well?
Good evening. Hold on just a second. I'm trying to get it big enough where I can look at it. Okay, so for the general fund, the revenue impact would be, for the first year would be $5 million, the second year would be $7 million, and the third year would be $9.6 million.
Is that an increase or decrease?
That is the total with the additional impact that we had from the other legislation.
When you say additional impact from the other.
Commissioner Reed, are you finished? Okay. Commissioner Reed?
When you say additional impact from the other
So, sorry, I said that wrong. Not additional, it would be the combined impact. If you want to know just the impact of adding the 5,000, for the general fund for the first year is $3.3 million, and for the fire fund is $831,000.
So do you understand what I was asking? What effect would it have on our budget?
It's going to have a significant effect on the budget.
The negative, is that correct?
Correct. It's going to hit the fire fund a lot harder. It would be hard for the general fund to absorb it, but the fire fund would be hit really hard.
Chief Sweat, is Chief Sweat here tonight? Can I have him to come up and talk about the fire fund too? And I'll come back to you. Chief Sweat, can you give us some information on how it will hit the fire fund as well?
So, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Commissioners, thank you so much. So, comparing this to the HB 581 impact, which is very similar, so a reduction of $831,000 in revenue can only be accomplished one or two ways. One is going to impact personnel services. So, looking at the HB 581 impact and those numbers we ran, previously speaking right off the top, that's looking at closing about 2 fire stations every 3 days to absorb $831,000 reduction in revenue coming into the fire fund. Second option, the only way you make up that is to raise the millage rate on the fire fund to make up the difference. That's our only 2 options.
Commissioner Hambert?
And assuming, not to interrupt, assuming the raise would get me the $831,000 back. We're currently sitting at 4.146 mills with a max cap of 5. So
I would say that it's a very good chance we would have to raise the millage rate as well.
So does that mean if we raise the millage rate, would we have to go up on taxes again?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm just going to say.
Or we would have significant cuts to
And I've
service.
say to the citizens as well that I do not want to keep going up on taxes. Everybody's saying it, whether it's in your, we've gone up on taxes, we've gone up on homeowners insurance, and that means that your house is going to go up. And we're going to be pricing people out of their houses. They're not going to be able to pay their rent if we keep going up on taxes. So we really need to take a very good look at this. It's a great idea. You know, I'm all for helping everyone, but I am not for raising taxes right now. I just think that we need to relook at this, maybe come back with some other solutions. And like I said, it's an excellent idea. But when we look at raising taxes, everybody's taxes are already high, including mine. And I'm going to say that as a public official. And so I want to make sure that we don't tax everybody out of their homes. So, you know, anybody else, does anybody else have any?
If I'm not mistaken too, Chief, that if this were to happen with the fire department, that it could also end up impacting insurance costs for homeowners.
yeah, so the our insurance, our evaluation, we were last evaluated in 2017. We currently hold a Class 1 ISO rating. I have just been notified, and we are beginning the process now to be reevaluated more than likely sometime in the calendar year 2025. So reduction in personnel, shutting down fire stations to make up for the lost revenue will definitely impact that rating, which will subsequently increase residential and commercial insurance rates.
And what does that rating give us, Chief? Is that the higher rating?
Yes, so Class 1 is the best you can get,
Okay.
which we were last evaluated in 2017 with a Class 1 ISO rating. Once again, we're looking to be reevaluated this calendar year. So a reduction in personnel and staffing will have a direct impact on that rating, therefore raising your ISO classification, which a lot of insurance carriers looks at that classification, that score, to determine the residential and commercial insurance rates from within the county fire protection district that we cover. So yes, the score would go up, therefore equivalent to insurance premiums rising.
All right. Mr. Davis?
I'll say as well, I agree with Chairwoman. This is a great idea, but the timing is just not correct at this time. And let's couple that with the inconsistencies with the tariffs that have gone into play at the federal level. Everyone's bills are going to go up here. And that's not the tax bill, that's just our everyday living bill. As far as energy, food, you know, the taxes went up, I think, on China up to 20%, and on Canada and Mexico to 25%. So we know the goods that we use are going to go up. So even with this, I believe we need to do a dive into our own fuel supply, our own supply here in the county, to begin to reduce our costs from a future perspective as well. But like I say, this is a great idea, but the timing is just not impeccable. Right,
I'll add on to that a little bit. There's been talk about the federal funding that we get. If the new administration does come back and decide to reduce that, we get about $60 million in federal funding. A lot of it goes towards T&D, but that would be other funds that we would lose, that we would potentially have to make up somewhere.
Correct. And even the funds that Congress, I believe, had said had to be funded, they've stopped those funds as of today as well. So this is just, the timing is, we have to take care of our citizens, but we also have to take care of our citizens by taking care of just the way we do business in the county.
So, and a lot of that, some of the federal funding coming in is for grant-funded positions in the courts that do take care of citizens during really hardships in their life with crimes and stuff like that too. And those are things that we're looking at, that if we lose that funding, what do we do?
And we just, Commissioner Davis and I just came back from Washington, D.C. And so there's a lot of uncertainty up there about what's going to be coming to us. People, they're saying, this may be cut. Everything from TANF, everything on up. There was a question that was sent to you also, Ms. Mary, as far as some of the things that you are seeing that may be cut more or less, as far as within our budget and grants and things of that nature. So again, we're in very uncertain times, and as we look, we got to take this budget like we do any budget, and make sure that we have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that we're looking at every item, making sure that, we're just being good stewards of our dollars. And so I don't want any citizen to think, that I don't want to give them a break. No, we all need a break at this point in time, but it's how we do it, when we do it, and everything is done at the right time, once we look and get through this fiscal year and see where we're going with our budget. All right, board members, are there any other questions?
Yes.
District 3 Commissioner.
Question, okay, so if this was to pass today, it would go on the ballot in November for the citizens to vote on it, correct? In my opinion, so it won't go, if it passes in November, it will go in effect, January for the next year? Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, I think we as a board of wonderful, smart people, and our CFO, we can find out how to find $4 million extra dollars. What is our budget? 365 million? Yeah. So I think we can find a way, all of us together, between November or now in January, to find $4 million, in my opinion. Thank you.
Oh, I have a question. So I just wanted to just confirm, because I know that Commissioner Allen just said, so the total budget, it's about 300 million, and so the impact of a $5,000 increase to the homestead exemption is a 1% impact to the total budget. Is that about right?
With everything else, it's about 2.5%.
You're asking me to do math in my head.
Yeah, that's about 3 to 4%.
Okay, and so where are we in the budget process for 2025, 2026?
We are trying to get it balanced and go through each department. We're making cuts now in order to get it balanced with what we think the revenues are going to be next year.
And did we have an overage last year in our budget? Like, what do you call it? Budget shortfall? 2024 to 2025. So this budget, this
current budget, we won't know if we have an overage until we get towards the end. Till we get till June. We start reconciling everything out.
But it was last year that we went over on the budget. Is that correct?
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking about this year, 24, 25.
So then
FY 24?
Yes.
Yes, we did have to amend in the budget several line items that caused it to increase.
All right, and that was on the expenses side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we look at this increase in the exemption as an increase in expenses, it's possible for us to make some negotiations within our budget.
So the way you want to look at that is when we did those budget amendments, that hit fund balance. So we're aiming, I think at the board retreat, we had, kind of decided that we would look at having a 4 to 6 month bank account of fund balance. In order to do that, we need to have well over $100 million in fund balance around the September, October point. We will not have that. We did not have that last year, and we will not have that this year. We need to get back to that point, because if we have an emergency situation or if we have to have major capital improvements, we have no savings account.
So I don't know if this is for our interim CFO or economic development director, but what avenues are we looking at to diversify the revenue? Because it's like 60% of the budget comes from property taxes, both commercial and residential.
Correct. So I know that the chair, along with the COO's office, has been looking into different revenue streams. So that is something that is being worked on.
Madam Chair, if I can make one more point,
Yes,
just I'm sorry. The fire fund is 97% driven by property tax, ad valorem tax, and timber tax. The remaining 3% is internal revenue that we generate from inspections and plan review fees. So just to remind the board, we do not get any sales tax revenue to run the fire department. It's strictly driven by the residential and property owners of the county. So to change that or to increase it can only be done by increasing taxes.
Yes, and I just want to say, as far as looking at sales tax dollars, our economic development director is going to be taking each board member through their districts to kind of look at spaces where we can develop and bring in those sales tax dollars, as well as working with refuse control, is looking at those those source spots for beautification. So we are working on a plan. We've been working on a plan, but we've got to bring in sales tax dollars, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you all to please hear me very clearly. We need economic development. We need sports arenas. We need everything that will make us those sales tax dollars. And just as we've stated, 60% is coming off the property owners. We can't keep doing business the way that we've been doing business. We've got to do something different. And for order for us to do that, that is why we're looking at the different diversified streams of revenue that we can use. And as I came in as the chairwoman, I asked Ms. Mayor and her department and every department, to start looking at grants, start looking at different things. Now, we know that grants are a little iffy right now, but we're still not going to stop looking. One thing that when we were in Washington, D.C. On yesterday, the feds were there, and they were sitting down with each department head, talking to them about some of the grant opportunities that are still open and that we can use here in the county. So again, we're going to start moving to making sure that we have some of our directors coming out to those different conferences, so we can start getting these ideas and finding out what's going on. And also, we're going to be inviting some of the people from the conference that we've met to kind of talk with our finance department and some of our other departments and come and speak with us and the citizens about some ways that we can save money. So again, we're going to have to be super money managers, as my mama would say, when we deal with this budget in order for us to move forward. And like I said, I will be getting together doing some I won't call them town halls, but we're going to be talking about innovative strategies and things of where we need to go as a county. So everybody will be abreast of where we need to go and how we need to move forward. So I want you all to be a part of that, because it takes all of us to work together to move this county forward. Thank you.
Oh, I have two more questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It was, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this timeline for the budget correct. So we are currently, I know you, the chairwoman, the departments, y'all are working through the budget for 2025, 2026. That will be finalized in June of this year.
We hope to have it finalized in May. The latest the board would vote on it would be in June.
Right, June, okay. So, and this might be, I don't remember your title. Attorney Reed. Okay.
Attorney Reed.
So for the timeline for this. So if this resolution were to pass tonight, it would still need to go through the state legislature.
That's correct.
Their legislative session ends in April. So if it doesn't pass tonight or sometime in the next few weeks, we would miss the window to be able to put this on the ballot in November of 2025.
That's correct.
Okay. And the majority of funds, property taxes, are collected September through October. So it hits the Clayton County, account.
The majority of the property taxes are collected around December to January. We have the majority of them in by then.
So just going back to the timeline. So we're currently evaluating the budget.
Mm-hmm.
It will go into effect July 1 of this year. The referendum, if this were to pass, would be November of 2025. Mm-hmm. People with the who currently have the homestead or who would be interested in applying for the homestead, they would do that January 1st of 2026. But they wouldn't make a payment on that until December of 2026.
November, December, yes, ma'am.
So this is effectively, we can plan 1 year out on expenses and revenue for the budgetary impact for this decision.
That is true. My understanding from the board after the retreat was that we really wanted to work hard on getting our fund balance back in a sufficient, safe zone of that 4 to 6 months. And that is probably going to take 4 to 5 years to do that.
But over the past 5 years, and I briefly saw the tax commissioner, and I know I have a lot of questions on this because for the past 5 years, Clayton County has increased the millage rate. Residents have seen their property values go up, so they have seen an increase in their property taxes. So we have hit them with not only, and everyone across Georgia is feeling this, they're feeling an increase in their property valuations, the amount of money that they're paying in their property taxes, and last year Clayton County increased the millage rate. And we can't give them a $5,000 increase?
So we did increase the millage rate last year because in order to balance the budget. The previous year, the millage rate was rolled back.
3 years in a row, wasn't it?
It was several times, yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yeah.
Now, we did have unprecedented inflation
Expenses, yes.
with the fair market values of homes across the nation. That is something that we can't really affect here, but I see what you're saying, and it's totally up to the board. You know, we'll balance a budget. It just may be significant cost to services provided.
But that's on the expenses side, which
Right.
we as a board and as the Clayton County entire Board of Commissioners government, we have the authority to make decisions on what that budget is going to look like for next year.
And one other thing to keep in mind is in the past, there have been expenses that have been paid, especially for renovations and things along those lines. If they're not coming through SPLOS, they're coming through hits to the general fund. If there's changes to how the board wants to operate and where you want to start bonding those and having a strategy for maintenance, the banks that look at bonding look at your overall financial picture, and if you do not have enough money to show, the cost of borrowing will be a lot more. So there's more than just we can just fix it on the back end. There are a lot of indirect impacts that come from decision to make, we can take a hit here, we can take a hit here, because the ripple effect goes beyond just that one decision. Now, of course, the board can do what you want. It's just that I don't want you all to not understand the impact of the decisions that you are making.
Chief Sweat?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. If I can also just point out, as it pertains to the fire fund and that millage rate. So 2019, the fire fund millage rate was capped at 5 mills, which is the max that we can charge. 2020, that went from 5 mills to 4.906, so we reduced it. 2021, it dropped again to 4.75 mills. 2022, it maintained steady at 4.75 mills. 2023, it dropped to 4.146. 23, 24, 25 is held steady at 4.146. So just historical as it pertains to.
I know that the fire fund millage rate has been pretty stable, but on the county side, it is.
They have not. The county millage rate has not gone up. It has rolled back. The county millage rate, there has not been tax increases over the past 5 years.
Not year over year, but there have been millage rate increases.
No, the millage rate increase, if you look at it was in 2019 is 20.5, and 2020 is 19.16, 2021 18.5, 2022 18.1, 2023 16. And then it went back up to 18.5 in 2024. So from 2019 to 2023, there were rollbacks to adjust for the increased costs, not the increase, but to adjust for the market value of homes. Now, of course, over the past 4 or 5 years, home values have gone up, but taxes, what you charge for the as your millage rate has not gone up. It has rolled back to adjust for that cost of values rising. So just so that you all are saying singing from the same hymnal, this is what you all publish as part of your financial picture. So I don't want anyone to come away from here thinking that you all have raised taxes. The last time you raised taxes was in 2024.
Okay. Chief Sweat, you have anything else to say? Okay. All right. Are there any other questions at this time, board members? All right, at this time.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment, and I asked the entire board for their favorable consideration to give Clayton County property owners and taxpayers some relief, some financial relief on their property taxes.
Thank you. All right, at this time, I need a motion to approve Resolution 2025-38.
So moved.
All right, can I get a second?
Second.
All right. All right, at this time, all in favor, y'all ready for the vote? All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay. All right, any abstentions? The nays have it and the motion fails. Next is item 18, which is the public hearing. At this time, did you want to come up, Chief, before I call it to order? Or did you want me to call it? Okay. At this time, I call to order the public hearing. And that's for capital improvement, for the capital improvement element document.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board. While they're pulling up the presentation, I do have our consultants here, Lee Walton and Paige Hatley. Ms. Hatley will be delivering the presentation tonight on the capital improvements element document. So this is the next step in a process that we began back in 2022. Which is to bring development impact fees to the county. Per the Development Impact Act, or Development Impact Fee Act through Department of Community Affairs, it does require that the county provide a capital improvements element document that will become a part of the county's comprehensive plan and will be amended into that document should the board choose to move forward. So what we're going to do tonight is run through a brief presentation on the draft capital improvement element document. This document was circulated to the board about a week and a half ago, so y'all could start to kind of go through it and take a look at it. I did provide an updated copy, I believe, yesterday, where we made some additional changes to account for some SPLOST expenditures that we have to account for, as well as we went back and made a couple changes to some of our documentation based off the court ruling out of Henry County. So we wanted to make sure that our document is in compliance with the act. So at this point,
Y'all got it?
okay.
Okay.
At this point, I want to turn it over to Ms. Hatley, and she'll run us through the presentation. Paige.
Hi, Ms. Hatley. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening. Just a clarification on so will you advance? Okay, thank you very much. As mentioned, this is part of the process, the overall process, and the county's consideration to implement an impact fee program. Next slide, please. The purpose of tonight specifically is to receive any public input on the draft capital improvements element, or CIE, which is required by the Georgia Department of Community Affairs to collect impact fees, a one-time fee to be collected potentially from new development to help pay for public facilities that are needed to serve that new development. Specifically, the county's CIE addresses the broad categories of parks, public safety, and library services, and it includes a listing of projects that are eligible for impact fee funding based on projected growth over the coming decades. Next slide. The purpose of the CIE, as mentioned, is we need to reiterate the fact that it is a state-mandated requirement to develop a CIE as the document that includes the listing of projects eligible for funding. CIE approval is required by the Georgia Department of Community Affairs before the CIE can be locally adopted by the board. In addition to a long-range list of capital projects that are identified, DCA mandates that near-term projects be pulled out, those that are anticipated to be started or implemented in the next 5 years in what's called a community work program. And we want to make the point that while this is a comprehensive list of project needs, the CIE itself does nothing to get into fee calculations, meaning what it would take to, in terms of fees that could be collected to help pay for these projects. That comes later in the process and is addressed under separate documentation. Next slide. So the CIE, when we talk about the categories of public safety, libraries, and parks, this is a summary of the types of projects that are included: recreation components, library collection materials, all building types, building expansions, new buildings, whether that is a library or a fire station, that's just a few examples, heavy vehicles and specialized equipment, and communication towers relative to E911 are also eligible project types. Next slide. For each of these projects, the CIE identifies, in accordance with DCA's standards, the portion of the project costs that can be attributed to new growth. If there are certain deficiencies in existing services, we can't charge new development. That, unfortunately, that burden is on existing residents and employment sectors. But we also, in addition to identifying the part of projects that we can assign to new growth and to help pay for, we include prospective years from implementation. And then, of course, if the board adopts an impact fee program, these years can be revisited every year to suit local needs. And then as far as project costs, we also have to give our best understanding at this point in time of project costs that will then be utilized later to help craft our fee calculations. The overall process to prepare and move from preparation to adoption of a CIE begins with the state-mandated public hearing this evening to consider transmittal of the draft. It's about a 2-month process for the ARC, Atlanta Regional Commission, and the Georgia Department of Community Affairs to review the CIE document. The 2 months gives time, if they do have any comments, that gives us enough time to address those and resubmit. And then ultimately, once we have approval by DCA, then that puts the board in the position of adopting the CIE. As far as on the next slide, we show the overall process of developing the impact fee program, where the CIE fits into that. It starts with the CIE to identify the projects to meet future demand. And then we look at, I've mentioned the fees. What could the fees be to help pay for these projects? That will be addressed later in the process with specialized fee calculations, and the final fee schedule will be found in what's called a development impact fee ordinance that will be reviewed and vetted and discussed with the board at length. And then those two pieces combined put any community considering a program into the impact fee business. And then lastly, how that translates into next steps. As mentioned, we've got the draft CIE document. We have the public hearing tonight. As soon as this evening, after the public hearing, if the board so chooses, they can authorize transmittal via resolution. Then we'll be at a point to revisit the actual in-depth fee calculations and start having discussions with the state-mandated advisory committee that was previously appointed by the board, as well as the board on what the fees could be, getting to the point of ultimately having an ordinance that could be adopted after 2 required public hearings under state law. And then we'd move forward with adopting both the CIE and the ordinance potentially, if the board wants to adopt an impact fee program, and then training. So then we're looking at late spring, early summer, considering all of the review processes and prospective discussion that would be needed to get us from A to Z to be in the impact fee business. And that serves as an introduction to the public hearing, and of course, at the appropriate time, any questions.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Did you want to say something else?
No, ma'am, just ready for questions from the board.
All right, board members, do you have any questions at this time? District 1, District 3, District 2, or District 4? All right, at this time, is there anyone who would like to speak in favor? Again, is there anyone who would like to speak in favor during this public hearing? You can come up, sir. And then Mr. Garber, I'll get you next, okay?
Madam Chair, I'd like to clarify something. That I haven't reached a resolution whether I'm in favor or against until I ask some questions here. So I don't want to be looked over and speak one way.
DCO, can you answer any questions that Mr. Garber may have? Yeah. Okay, so you'd like to speak. Can you walk out with them real quick? I'll wait on you. I got you.
I'm not that fast to learn.
Roger. So I do want to speak in favor because as everybody's concern is increasing taxes, this is an effective way to not increase taxes and be able to still be able to cover some of our budgetary shortfalls. So I just wanted to put on public record that, but the key for this to work though is economic development. So, and so that's just for the residents in general. So if we have more economic development, then we can laud impact fees, which can then help us to be able to move forward. So I just want to put that out there.
And sir, what's your name again?
Mr. Bourget, and what's your
District 4, Jean-Pierre Bourget. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Henry Anderson.
Henry Anderson, District 3 resident, unincorporated Clayton County, Hampton, Georgia. I want to say I am definitely in favor of impact fees for Clayton County. And I want to say to the Clayton County Board of Commissioners, and definitely to you, Madam Chairwoman, this is an issue that I brought before the commission back in 2005 when I first started going on public commenting. I've been coming to commission meetings for 25 years. This is my 25th year. And that was one of the very first things that I talked about, and it is a shame. And it's documented. I would have had facts if I really looked at the agenda, because I overlooked this because I like to deal with facts, because I know I have a lot of credibility with you all, but I like to deal with facts. And when the newspaper article, Clayton newspaper article, did an article on me in 2007 as one of the concerned citizens, when it was really was still a good newspaper, but when it really printed news, it mentioned that it is a shame, and that's part of why the evaluation, do not think of it as an attack, being adversarial, or being confrontational. I've got points to go through. I went through 2 of the 10 because I bring a lot of good ideas to you all, and I'm just one citizen. I'm not listened to, not disrespected, but not listened to. But it is a shame. 2005, 20 years ago, I brought impact fees. When I read in the Atlanta Constitution about Henry County, the Eldrin Bell at the time, and the commissioners, you all were not on there, son of Gregory, Willie Rav, Eldrin Bell, Charlie Griswold, Virginia Gray, did not listen. And we still build. And I'm going to thank you, because before you assumed the position, I talked to you very strongly, chairwoman-elect, chairwoman-elect, about how this county never had impact fees. You listen. I mean, I'm glad that was on your agenda to do. So I'm in favor, but I want to let the citizens know, let you know when I evaluate, that's why I'm going to have great ideas. You all will probably not implement them, but I have to evaluate for me, because had I was listened to and had it been done, because I was the only citizen really that talked about it. I'm talking about citizen. I met with Chief Murkison last year to understand his position when I was coming back to the commission meetings. We talked about impact fees, and I shared with him, and it is a shame. So I'm just going to say this, I'm in favor. So when after I go through my evaluation criteria, so you'll know where I'm coming from, I have to go through that being fair. I'm going to bring some ideas. And if I'm not listened to, yes, it will be a not so good evaluation. But I bring great ideas, and even though I'm one citizen, I have enough institutional knowledge and enough sense to know what's good. And had I been listened to with impact fees 20 years ago, and had it passed, we would have gotten a lot of money. We're going to get some money, so I thank you, Madam Chairwoman, and Chief Murkison, and getting this done. It should have been done by your 2 predecessors, Chairman Turner, Chairman Bell. but for whatever reason, they did not take leadership on it. So thank you. I'm thanking you. But again, had I been listened to and had it been implemented, because I talked in length, not just one public comment section, but thank you, and I'm in favor of impact fees, and I hope all goes well and you get some monies, because this county is about built out. So thank you again.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that's, that would like to speak in favor? In favor?
Madam Clerk, Madam Chair,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to speak in favor.
Yes, sir. Come up, please, Mr. Garber.
Madam Clerk, Mickey Garber, unincorporated Rex, Georgia. From the introduction of Ms. Hatley gave and the quick study that Deputy COO Murkison gave, I would like to say that I'm in favor of impact fees. Let me explain to the public what my education was. And Deputy COO Murkison explained it to me this way. I was originally against impact fees because they passed the payment on to the end user, okay? However, Chief Murkison, Deputy COO Murkison explained it this way. Somebody buys one of those $200,000 homes, but the impact fee is directed to the developer. The developer passes that impact fee on to the purchaser, but there's a set price in that impact fee on, let's take that home of $200,000. That impact fee is $1,600, which is a minuscule amount in the realm of $200,000. So therefore, it isn't felt so much. So therefore, I would like to say that I'm in favor of the impact fees, plus also that those fees collected go to fire and libraries and things like that. But let's just use fire here. Chief Sweat was up here arguing about looking for $4 million. I see where these impact fees are going to solve your problem of getting Chief Sweat what he needs and other things in our community. So therefore, I'm in favor of the impact fees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garber. Would anyone else like to speak in favor of the impact fees at this time? All right. Again, anyone else, would you like to speak in favor of the impact fees? I'm gonna ask one more time. Would anybody else, because I wanna make sure that everyone is heard in the audience that would like to speak. All right, next, is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition of the impact fees at this time? Again, is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition of the impact fees at this time? I'm going to say that one last time. Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition of the impact fees at this time? All right. All right, at this time, we are, board members, did y'all have any questions at this time regarding impact fees, District 1, District 3, District 2, or District 4? All right, thank you. All right. At this time, we are going to,
You can close the public hearing.
I'm gonna close it.
Okay.
I was getting ready to you want me to close it? Ready? Do we have to vote to close it?
No.
We're good. Okay, I can just close it. Good. All right. You kind of scared me when you came up.
Because I'm ready for 19. I'm ready
You said
for
we're
item 19.
You're gonna read, okay, I was about to read it too, okay. At this time, this ends the public hearing for the, for the impact fees hearing. It is now closed. Thank you. All right.
All right, Resolution 2025-43 is a resolution authorizing Clayton County to support the transmittal of a draft capital improvements element to the Atlanta Regional Commission for regional and state review is required for the consideration of an impact fee program, to authorize the chairwoman or her designee to execute any documents relating thereto, and to otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to provide an effective date of this resolution for other purposes.
All right. At this time, I need a motion to approve Resolution 2025-43. All right.
Second.
All right, second. All right, and in discussion at this time, I think we discussed it enough. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. I want to take one more personal point of privilege. I just want to let everyone know, and I'll make sure I got it. The senior exemption homestead is going to, the deadline is April 1st. Again, the senior exemption homestead exemption deadline is approaching in April 1st. So please, if you're a senior and you have not done your exemptions with your homestead, please make sure that you do that by April 1st. All right, Attorney Reed, do we have anything that we need to discuss for executive session?
Yes, litigation and personnel.
All right, I need a motion at this time to go into executive session for litigation and personnel.
So moved.
All right, can I get a second?
Second.
All right, are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. We will now go into executive session. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful night. And if those of you who want to stay, we'll be back out. All right, a second? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Thank you.
You want me to go ahead?
Yeah. 'cause
All
I
right.
don't know what
I would like if the board would terminate the agreement with Morgan Constructors relating to the Flint River Community Center, and authorize the chairwoman to carry out all actions necessary to effectuate that motion, just in case you have to sign anything.
Okay. At this time, I need a motion to terminate Morgan Construction in regards to the Flint River Recreation Center.
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
I have a question. Now, we said Flint River, but do they have other business here in the county?
I don't believe so, but the main reason why we are terminating their contract is specifically related to that development, to that building.
But if they're still here doing business and they're doing shoddy.
I don't think they're doing any business now. But if they were, we would certainly let you know.
Bring it back to the board.
Okay.
Right.
And so does that put them on a list of do not hire in the future kind of thing? How do we handle that? Do we have
Yes.
something on the books to handle that?
It would affect their ability likely to bid on any contracts that bid on any requests for proposals or anything like that going forward.
Whether it's prime or sub? Or,
Right.
Okay, okay.
Are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Next. That's it?
That's it for me.
That's it? All right. At this time, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Y'all ready to adjourn? Yeah, okay.
Can I get a quick point of privilege?
Yes,
Can I get a
ma'am.
quick point of privilege? Okay, I just wanted to shout out Huey Elementary School. I was there this morning for this week celebrating Read Across America. I know that was your former principal, Chairwoman Anderson. So I just wanted to shout out all of the winners at that elementary school for all the amazing reading that they did.
Oh, that's excellent. And also, board members, I said I was going to add this to the agenda, but I hadn't done it yet. So if you all have anything that's going on in your districts, would you like to announce them tonight? Or any upcoming meetings or anything?
Oh, yeah, that's a great segue.
Okay.
Next Thursday, March 13th, I would love all District 1 residents and Clayton County residents to come out to 696 Main Street in Forest Park for my quarterly town hall. It's going to be next Thursday, March 13th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. at 696 Main Street in Forest Park Community Center.
Is that
See
the
you there?
Hartsfield Community Center?
Isn't that the same time that the Development Authority meets?
If you say so.
Ms. Garber. All right, anybody else next?
Well, it's not in my district, but I would like everyone to know about Sheriff LaVon's Allen First Community Town Hall Meeting. It'll be Saturday, March 15th, 12 to 2 p.m. Now Faith Apostolic Church, 3406 Rex Road. Come out and get your questions answered regarding the Sheriff's Office.
All right. Also, next I have, on March 19th, we're going to have the State of the County featuring our chairwoman, Dr. Alika Anderson Henry. Please come out. Also, we're going to have our 18 Holes for Heroes Public Safety Golf Tournament, which will be on Monday, March 24, 2025 at 9 a.m. So please come out to Sun City Peachtree Golf Club in Griffin, Georgia, and we will be down there golfing to make sure that we can put some money back into our sheriff's, fire department, and our CCPD's budgets. Thank you. Anything?
Nothing.
All right. District 4, anything?
This Saturday, which is what, March the 8th, 11 a.m. here in this building, 112 Smith Street, we will be having our monthly town hall meetings to discuss what's going on budget-wise and what's going on code enforcement. Come ask any questions that we have that you're in need of to move this county forward, begin to put forth your 2 cents and begin to make it happen. And also, too, let's also remind that we do have East Plus on the ballot as well, so everyone needs to get out and vote yes for that East Plus to assist us in moving services forward with this county.
And that there is not a new tax, it's to continue.
No, but I'll tell you later.
You said it. All right, that went well. I think we might need to add this to our next meeting. It went really well. Again, at this time, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. All right, can I get a second? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the meeting is adjourned as of 8:18 p.m. You all have a wonderful evening. Thank you.